All right, UpStreet, it's that time. Get up on your feet. We're going to count down starting at 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's down, chickens? No. I mean, what's up, peeps? I mean, clearly I'm struggling with words today, but I'm going to have to use a little creativity because today I have an amazing story that is full of creativity. Do you guys remember what creativity means? Yes, that's right. Creativity is imagining what you could do because you're made in God's image. So you've all showed some incredible and amazing creativity all month long. Let's not stop. Let's keep going. Today we're going to do a fill-in. Some people call them a Mad Lib. And in UpStreet, nothing is normal. So we're going to do an epic fill-in. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, so what I did this week is I asked a lot of your small group leaders to send in ideas of words. And now there's 3 kinds of words we're going to use. Nouns are people, places, and things. And next, we're going to need adjectives. And so adjectives are the words that describe nouns, maybe silly and red, or a word that is going to tell you more about the noun, tall, short. And the last word we're going to need are verbs. So usually verbs show action, like to fly or to jump or to run. So because we don't do anything small in UpStreet, this really is our epic fill-in. So I asked your small group leaders to give me nouns, verbs, and adjectives like we just talked about. In fact, I have them all right here. So as we get to a spot in the story where I need a noun, a verb, an adjective, that's right, I'm just going to pull out from the list that they gave us. Are you guys ready to hear the best day ever? The best day ever? Anthony kicked off his hungry shoes before turning the corner to fly up the stairs. He left them on the floor like 2 abandoned bananas. He took a flying zipper and landed on his super bed. He grabbed his game system and picked back up where he left off the night before. As he danced on the controllers, he heard a whimper. He turned to see Spot, his awesome dog, coloring his tail. With toast in his mouth, Spot clearly expected a fuzzy afternoon with his favorite human. Anthony sighed, put down the game, and put on his car. On the way out of his room, he stopped to pick up his soccer ball too, just in case any of his friends saw him shopping outside and wanted to join in the fun. He nearly tripped on his cranky shoes downstairs, but clapped them up with his free hand. Oh my goodness, poor Anthony. As he and Spot sat on the porch outside, Anthony burped his shoes and looked around. Was anyone outside who would enjoy a pickup game on a random Tuesday afternoon? He saw Mom pushing her flip-flop in a stroller. Nope. Then a teenage cloud with headphones on, juicing a mower. Nope. One final scan, and all he saw was old Mr. Smith pushing his delicious trash can back to his horse. Looks like a simple game of soup with Spot was all he could hope for today. He scratched Spot's head and stood up. At least he could make his dog's day extra purple. Well, that was something, wasn't it? You all got to see creativity used thanks to your leaders of UpStreet in such a big way, and it made for quite a story. So let's all stand up and sing and worship God because we know that all of our creativity comes from Him. So let's go.
I was lost and could not see. I was searching, you found me. Your love opened my eyes. My heart forever changed. everybody like Jesus did. I'm gonna love all my neighbors, love all my friends, love everybody like Jesus did. 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna love, love, love everybody the way you love me, the way you love me. Gonna love, love, love everybody the way you love me, the way you love me. Gonna love, love everybody the way you love me, the way you love me. Gonna love, love everybody the way you love me, the way you love me.
We've got one more Bible story that talks all about God's creativity. So find your favorite spot to be comfy because you're going to need to be focused on what's coming at you.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 13 through 16.
Keisha Jones tied the strings of a large white apron carefully behind her back. She glanced at awe at the gleaming silver countertops and appliances in the kitchen of a cupcakery where her brother Robert worked.
This is amazing.
Yeah, pretty great Myers letting us use the mixer and stove.
Pretty great, you're helping me.
Keisha offered to bake cookies to raise funds for the new marching band uniforms. Even better, she convinced Robert to help her. He clipped a smudge recipe page over the counter.
Brown butter and toffee chocolate chip cookies? Sounds weird.
Trust me, they are the bomb. Robert worked evenings in a bakery for 3 years, so Keisha had to admit, he probably did know. She looked over the recipe.
2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt?
Actually, we're quadrupling the recipe, so that's 4 teaspoons of salt. Robert tossed Keisha a set of measuring spoons.
Cookies are supposed to be sweet. Won't the salt ruin them?
Nope, salt actually brings out the flavors.
What does that even mean?
You want to test it out? Fine. I'll make a batch with salt. You make one without.
You're on.
The siblings worked quickly as Robert showed Keisha how to mix dry ingredients and wet ingredients separately.
What do we do now?
Add the dry ingredients into the wet mix on low speed. Slowly, or you will make a flour storm all over this kitchen.
I knew that.
As Keisha worked, though, she began to hear another sound over the mixer.
Wow, rain's really coming down.
Yeah, and this is such an old building that every time it storms, the power goes out.
I can't see a thing.
Robert fumbled with his phone until the flashlight came on. It always comes back on pretty fast. We can wait it out. Robert settled down on the floor, back against the cabinets. Keisha sighed and sat down too. She checked her phone.
My battery's dying. Entertain me.
What? You can't live without your phone?
I don't know. Tell me a story.
I was just thinking of one. About salt.
Really?
One that Jesus told.
Ooh, that one. Sermon on the Mount.
Well, it fits. You know, the cookies.
Fine. Read it to me, preacher man.
It's in Matthew.
I know that.
Robert settled in with his Bible app. Jesus saw the crowds, so he went up on a mountainside and sat down. Then he began to teach. And pretty quick he gets into this part. You are the salt of the earth.
That's it?
Well, no. I mean, then Jesus talks about throwing out the salt if it loses its saltiness.
How do you even know if you're salty?
I think it's like the cookies. Salt makes things taste better. And people who follow Jesus can make life taste better.
Like chocolate chip cookies.
Robert punched her lightly in the shoulder. You know what I mean. When we share God's story, we bring hope to others. We help to fill their lives with kindness and joy and peace. All that good stuff.
Okay, I get it. Salt, good. There's something about light too, right?
Yep. Jesus says, "You are the light of the world." People do not light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand. Then it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine so others can see it. Then they will see the good things you do, and they will bring glory to your Father who is in heaven. Keisha shifted, trying to get comfortable on the hard floor.
So when we follow Jesus,
By showing God's love to others.
when we do that, others can see God better and what to do.
Like a bright light. Yikes! Robert leapt up to try to stop the mixer as the power came on. Keisha stood and stretched, blinking.
Like a bright light. You planned that, huh?
Of course.
Well played. Hey, I'm gonna put salt in my batch of cookies after all.
Well played. As Keisha measured the salt, she smiled. The cookies would have came out great, but she had some thinking to do about ways she can become salt and light herself.
What Jesus said to his disciples that day is also true for you and me. See, God created us to be like the salt and the light, and he made each of us with such an important purpose. And so our bottom line is God created you to share his story. This is so important. I want you to say it with me. Okay, so get ready to say it really loudly. God created you to share his story. Now, I'm going to change something, and it's going to make it even more special. This time, I want you to say, God created me to share his story. All right, we're going to say it really loud, not for practice, for real. Here we go. God created me to share his story. That's right. Each one of us can share Jesus' story with our actions, and it's not just our words. I mean, maybe you have a gift or a talent that God has given you. He's made you really creative in your own unique way. Remember, when you use the gifts that God gave you, it honors him, and it even allows you to share his love with others. That's how you can share his story and help other people know his love too. Maybe you really like to create art. You can make a drawing that reminds others of God and the amazing world he created, or you could write out one of your favorite Bible verses that always encourages you, and you can give it to a friend. Or maybe you know a friend who's going through a hard time, and the next time you and your family make a sweet treat, maybe you could make a little extra for them. That is being salt and light. There are tons of ways we can share God's story and use our creativity. But the important thing to remember is this: God created you and me to share his story. So let's talk to God about his story and how we were created to fill it. God, thank you for creating each of us with creativity. You've given each of us a role to play, a way to be salt and light, and to flavor the world around us. And by doing that, we get to show other people you. We get to use our creativity to show how you are awesome and loving and kind. So this week, help us find ways to use our creativity to honor you, to love you, and to love the others around us. We thank you, and we pray all this in your name. Amen. I'm so glad that God created you with creativity, because you have your own special way to add to God's story. So don't waste this week. Use it to discover even more about how God has made you creative. We'll see you guys next week.
Rising up, rising up.